I'm driving in my car.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Chris.
Now I'm thinking of other words
Yep.
that.
Sorry. Hey,
Yeah.
welcome back. This is our first episode after the timeline.
The
stuff.
timeline series. Wow. It's like, what do we talk about? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to yell.
Coming in hot
But,
on the mic. I told you I was going to wear my Black Crows t-shirt.
I just went plain T-shirt today.
Well,
So
I went to this concert. It was the Shake Your Moneymaker 30th anniversary. It was supposed to happen in 2020, but didn't because of 2020. So it was in 2022. And there's a place called and I may have talked about it before, is the Orion Amphitheater in Huntsville. Golly, that's a great venue to watch a show. At least it was when I went.
relatively small,
It's a decent size.
is it? Okay. I like those small to medium size.
Yeah, this was
venues
kind of
where-
medium size.
Okay. So you can see the stage no matter.
Oh,
where
there was
you're at,
not
all
a
that
there
good
was not a
stuff.
bad seat
Okay.
there, and
I like.
I
those.
think that our show was. It had only been open a month or so,
Okay.
so there had been a few shows.
So that's new.
So it was new, but man, the show was great. The venue was great. We parked at a little shopping center kind of across the way from it, so we didn't have to pay to park. And so did a lot of other people because there was like this flock of people.
Everybody's walking.
Everybody's walking. But
Have
I haven't been back.
speaking
since.
of like venues, like have you ever seen anyone in a stadium? Like have you ever been to like a massive
Stadium concert?
stadium concert?
No, other than Starwood,
Me neither.
which is
And-
not a stadium. But
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest venues I've ever been to is Starwood. If you
Yeah.
back in the day here.
no,
I
I haven't
loved
been to Fanfare or CMA Fest where they have all
No.
the big shows in the.
I don't really have
Football
any
field.
interest. There's not really anyone that I feel like that I would want to go see in that.
I kind of wanted
big
to
of an
go
environment.
see when Metallica played here.
Mm.
I thought that would have been a good show.
You don't think it'd be so removed?
I think that they do such a good job with sound that you can still
Okay.
hear it and feel it, and they've got the screens up and everything, so you
okay.
can see.
All right, I'll take that.
So anyway,
Well, what are we going to talk about today?
so I think we are going to talk about when we start driving.
Ooh.
So getting our license.
License to Drive.
Yes, that was a movie
That was a movie.
with the Coreys.
Matter of fact, that was an 80s movie.
It
right
was.
around our time.
Yes.
Um,
Is that the one where they had the guy say, "I'm beginning to perspire"?
I think that's exactly what that's
I think
from.
that's right.
That was a good movie. I'm excited to talk about us getting our driver's license because that's where, stuff opens up.
Oh yeah, well, because up until this point, we've done bikes,
Yeah,
ramps, playing football and kickball and playing war, stuff like that.
and bikes got us
Bikes
decently
got us,
far
yeah.
around, and
All things considered, yeah.
as did sometimes just walking.
Yeah.
But man, car's a whole other level. So
Whole nother level.
I'm excited to talk about that. So today, it's about getting licensed to drive. Some of those first experiences that we had.
Not all of them good.
No, did you have an accident in your first year?
Oh yeah,
I did too. Maybe we'll talk about those too.
sure.
And I think we're gonna try to, as I set a timer here in a moment, get all the way up to what was our first road trip together. Awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, it was to Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Gatlinburg.
1990.
Because I had graduated.
Yep.
He had just finished his junior year, and so
My parents frowned on us leaving the state.
leaving the state.
So I think the next piece of our conversation was, well, what's the furthest we can go in the state? And at that point, it seemed like Gatlinburg was a pretty good show.
Yeah, because we had both been there before. Anyway, we'll get into that,
Right.
but that's what we're that's where this one's headed. So as you can see, we're not scripted. Chris just wrote down a couple of little notes, like this is what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
But there's no script. This is going to be off the cuff.
Let's get our license.
All right, here we go. Come with us.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Chris.
You notice I went back to your common name.
Yes, to not my government name.
All right. I was feeling a little something with that, so I'm more comfortable now. We're back to just Dave and Chris.
They just went weird, editing it, looking, and, because we always start off, hey, Dave, hey, Chris. And it's like, hey, David. I was like, kind of took me back when I was editing. I was like, what?
What's going on?
Speaking of editing, that's a word that my daughter has trouble saying.
Editing.
She's I've gone through it with her. Editing. She's like editing. Like she just edited. Like it's almost like it never
we have
ends.
Those words. It's like aluminum and
Aluminium.
Aluminum. I always want to. I roll my M for whatever reason, but it's that metal.
How do you roll an M?
I don't really know.
I can roll an L or an R.
I just want to add an extra letter, an M, an N, aluminum. It's hard, but
aluminium.
But it happens. Maybe she'll outgrow it, or maybe
I'm sure
she won't be able to say it when she's 50 as well.
I'm sure she'll be able to.
It's all good. I'm gonna restart that.
Restart that timer.
All right, man.
Driver's licenses.
Driver's license. This is what I do feel like things have changed. I noticed a change with my own children as they got to this age.
Now you have to schedule it.
Well, and it didn't seem as big a deal. It didn't seem as important.
I mean, I coach high school kids, and I have kids that are well into their senior year, and they're like, well, I guess I need to get my license sometime. I was like, I was there. So you didn't have appointments.
No. And you could start your permit.
You could start your permit at 15.
And 15 in a day. I was there to get my permit.
And then you got your driver's license at 16, and it wasn't these, like, now they have the graduated driver's license where you have to be home by a certain time. Okay. You can only have X number of people in your car.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you're 16, I think you can only have one other person in your car.
Okay. Those are probably
I don't know exactly all the laws,
have.
But I do know that there are restrictions. And if it's, a restricted driver's license, which you have when you're 16, maybe until 18,
Okay.
Instead of your driver's license being this way printed, it's printed this way.
So it's kind of like the
carry
they used
permit.
to do that when you were under 21. They would print it a different way too. That's interesting.
And maybe they still do it up until under 21. I
didn't know it had
but I do know it's different.
So regulated. So I feel like, and maybe that's why it's looked at differently. Like to me, that was
your ticket to freedom.
I mean, you could get a car, even if you didn't get a car, you got a license.
Borrow mom's
somebody
car.
Borrow a car. You
Right.
know, you bring your brother's car. I'll drive it.
Right.
I remember all those instances. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Where somebody borrowed somebody else's car.
Yeah.
And
or I don't feel like driving. I'll drive your car.
Right.
Okay.
But as I'm saying all that, I'm like, no wonder they added a bunch of rules of who could be in what cars and all this other
Right.
stuff, because that could get a little sketchy quick.
But you didn't have to. You didn't have to get an appointment. You just went to your local DMV and got in line. I was in line. I think the DMV opened up at 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
I was in line at like 7:45. I was the second or third person in line. Open up the doors. I'm running in there and
You've done your studying. You're ready to go.
did my little written test. Passed. I think I missed one.
Yeah. And which location was this here in Nashville? Is this the Murfreesboro Road?
Murfreesboro Road,
Donaldson Pike?
right over by the airport.
Okay.
Yep, that was the
And,
one.
and we've mentioned that in a previous episode when we were talking about mopeds, because that's where I went to get my moped license. And from that experience, I was like, I don't want to go back there to get my driver's license because that was, if you know where we're talking about, that's a hairy little area and intersection. There's like a side street that comes up.
There's
there.
two main roads.
Mm-hmm.
It's an intersection at two main roads. And then there's a couple of side streets that come off of this. But when I say that my driver's test was to drive around the block, my driver's test was to drive around the block. I pulled out of the Highway Patrol station on Donaldson Pike, that DMV Highway Patrol, it was all right there.
Yeah.
So I turned right onto Donaldson Pike. Went the 50 yards to Murfreesboro Road.
Mm-hmm.
Turned right onto Murfreesboro Road. Went 75 yards to turn on that side street. Turned right on that side street. Went all the way down that side street that eventually intersected back with Donaldson Pike.
Yeah.
Turned right on Donaldson Pike and went back and then turned right into the parking lot.
That's the way I remember it.
That was my driver's test. And somehow the lady, now I'm telling you, the lady that was in there, I don't remember her name, but I could tell you exactly what she looks like. And all I know is she got in the car. My mom had a 1985 Pontiac 6000. There's nothing exciting about this car. I got in that.
That's a mom car.
It's a mom car. I got in that car, started up. The driver test lady person got in.
Yeah.
And she said, "Lord, honey, you're going to have to turn this AC up. It's hot." Because, it's August. And she reaches over and threw my air conditioner on max AC and hit the fan all the way up. And I'm over there going like,
did I fail?
this lady's touching all the controls, And she goes, "All right, we're going to pull out of here. Turn right. We got to get up to the next road. Turn right. This road right here. Turn right. Go down to the end. Turn right. All right, honey, pull it back in this parking lot." I'm like, oh, my gosh. I'm nervous.
Yeah, you're like, I did so bad they cut the test short.
Right. I messed up already. And then we go in and got your license. Now, back then, the licenses were smaller, and they had this plastic jacket that you fit your license down in.
Yep.
Which friends of mine got in trouble.
Because you could do some editing on those.
I'll never forget, a friend of mine got pulled over and had forgotten that he had a picture of Chewbacca that he had cut out and slipped down in his license. So it has all his name and his address and all this kind of stuff with a picture of a Wookiee in there.
Oh, man.
Which, you can't do anymore. Sorry, I got fuzz on my...
No, probably shouldn't have done it then.
Probably shouldn't have done it then.
That's funny.
But just... people did all kinds of stuff. They put a picture of our history teacher from they made a photocopy of the yearbook and put a picture.
That's awesome.
So anyway,
oh man.
But that was my driver's test. You just got in line, went and took your written test, and then went and drove around the block, at least in that location.
Which technically, I feel like they could have just stood in the parking lot and watched you do all of that.
or
basically,
in all actuality, they probably could have put a little crow's nest on the roof of that building and watched you do it.
Just watch the whole thing. No, that's true.
But the thing is, since you didn't have a license, you had your permit, you had to have a licensed driver in the car with you. So I think that was there.
I was quite just terrified of going back to that same location. So I ended up going to Goodlettsville here outside of Nashville. At the time, so this is...
Well, your grandparents lived in that
they lived in that Madison, area. So I knew of this smaller, DMV office there. And so, I think it even had Saturday hours. So I mean, back in the late 80s, Goodlettsville was not a hopping place. I had probably just as short of a driving test. I think I went through 2 stop signs, made a couple of right turns, and there was none of the parallel parking or anything. I think I had to pull back into a parking spot.
Yeah, I had to pull into a parking spot.
It was really easy. And at the end of it, I was like, this is it? This freedom's got to feel better than this. It was
because my mom scared me to death because apparently back in the 60s when she got her license, they had to parallel park and they had to do all this other kind of stuff.
But you would think I would, going back a little bit to driving lessons, my first driving lesson was my dad in his probably 84 or 86 GMC Sierra.
That was a big truck.
Yeah, it was.
and it was
we're
all
on
like steel.
Murfreesboro Road coming back from Murfreesboro back to Nashville, and he's just like, "You want to drive?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to drive." And the moment I get behind the wheel of this big truck, man, I pull out and immediately state troopers right behind me and followed me the whole time. And I was panicked. My dad was just over in his seat laughing, and I was like,
your dad was former law enforcement.
Yeah,
so.
I was like, should I stop? Should I stop? Let me stop. Let's trade. Let me stop. Let me stop.
Do you need gas?
He's like, no, just keep going. He ain't gonna bother you. Just keep going. So yeah, we made it. Terrified, first lesson done, but no. By the time it was time to get the license, I wanted it to be low key. So I did. I went to Goodlettsville. It was easy, and everybody was super friendly. No lines, kind of quick.
No
in
flipping
and
your air
out.
conditioner on.
No
it's
flipping my
January.
air. Yeah, I was to say mine's a little more like turn on the heater.
Turn the heat on.
But no, it was pretty non-eventful, given the way it had always been described to me. Right, of like this is going to be tough, and you're going to have to
all these things,
do a J turn and park it right into a spot along the curb.
Right.
No, it wasn't like that. But it is interesting that so many more rules have come into place.
Yeah, and I don't know what the driving tests are like now. I could ask some of my players, "Hey, what's the driving test like now?"
Yeah.
But I feel like half of them don't have their license. They're like, "Oh no."
I would say my son got his right on time. Failed the test a couple times though, so that was interesting.
Your son failed the test?
Yeah,
really?
the driving portion. It took him a couple times to get to that, and then our the oldest she's had some interest initially, but then eventually didn't really become a driver until 18, 19, I think. So yeah, all.
Not I, said the coach.
No, I was like, man, had I
on my
misplaced
birthday.
any of that, I'd have been like,
On my
when can I
birthday.
come back? When can I come back? I'll pay whatever fee. But I didn't. I mean, it sounds like
Right.
we both passed. We
Oh,
got
yeah.
our license. Then it was about, all right, now how do I get access to a car? And I had one lined up for me. I think it took you a few months, right?
What?
That you had before you had like your own.
Oh no, because I turned 16 in '88. I didn't get my truck until February of 1990.
So 18 months.
Yeah, so I drove mom's
This is what was
car
available.
or dad's van.
Yeah, I remember the van. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
It was a cool ride. I had a car from my grandparents kind of lined up. I was the oldest, fortunately the oldest grandson. They had a car that was 5 or 6 years old, which back then was ancient. Like if you kept a car until it was paid off, which was typically 5 years, that car is basically trash.
Right.
I mean,
It's like, oh, you got 80,000 miles? It's almost done.
yeah, I mean, and it really was. And usually you hit that right around the 5 year mark when you got it paid off.
I haven't owned a car with less
And,
than 100,000 miles, and I
same.
can't tell you how long.
Now they can, I mean, 200-300
Oh, my truck's
K
got
is good.
306.
Nice. Yeah, diesel.
306,000.
Those can get a mile or two more, but
Yeah.
but yeah. So I had, and we've talked about it in previous episodes. I had the 1980 Dodge Colt.
Yeah. Which I
lined
found a
up for
picture
me.
of before, and I'm sure it's on my hard drive somewhere.
It's probably there.
So we'll put it up.
But yeah, I had that little green beast ready to go because it was like green, like
Oh, it was green.
like spring grass green. I mean, it was it was not like this emerald color you see driving around today, man. This is like
no, this was just
what's
like
green? Grass. Paint it that color. It'll
Right.
be great.
Get the crayon that's colored green. Yeah, that's what we're
yeah,
gonna do.
that's what we're gonna just put it on there.
There was no metal flake or anything in it. It was just
No.
green.
But it did have a sunroof,
It did have a sunroof,
which
yeah.
was a pretty cool little thing
Yeah,
at the
that was
end of the day.
a novelty.
I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, I mean,
And what happened to that car?
well, my first accident happened to that car. So all right, I'll talk about my first accident because it was only a few months later. I didn't have the Dodge Colt very long, and
As I recall, wasn't it on its side or upside down?
It was upside down.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I was coming home from.
This is what not to do, kids.
I was coming home from visiting a young lady that I had been dating, and it was relatively late at night. And it, yeah, I mean, we
HID headlights were not a
just,
thing.
No, we'd just been watching a movie, so there's nothing like weird or anything. I just, out of the corner of my eye, I caught my lights hit a silver trash can, and the way the light hit it, it looked like it was moving. And so my initial reaction was there's something about to cross
Coming
in
at
front of
you,
me, and I didn't want to hit it, right? So I did a hard left on a little neighborhood side street, and basically kind of spun the car around, and then when the passenger side wheels kind of hit the gravel, it just kind of gently rolled right into a ditch. So I'm hanging upside down.
If you can gently roll into a ditch upside down.
I mean, I mean, the car survived. We did get it back home and get it running again.
We just get out and push it over and.
No, the tow truck had to come, so I had to.
So I bet you could see if you had
before cell phones.
If you'd had cell phone, you'd probably call me and be like, "Dude, help me get this car."
I was like, "Come help me roll this car over." But it didn't. So this is back when something like that happens. You just gotta like knock on somebody's door and
ask to use the phone.
Yeah, you think about that now, right? Somebody just starts knocking on your door 10:30 at night. It's like, "Hey, I just had an accident. Can I
and ask to use the phone?
Can I come in and use your phone?"
No.
It's like,
because the phones are connected to the wall.
I can't even imagine that anymore. I mean, I remember breaking down as a kid. I think it was with my grandparents, and we'd gone out to eat, and we were still close to home, but we broke down somewhere in between the restaurant and the house. And I remember us just walking up to somebody's house and knocking on the door. This is what happened. And they let us come in, and we were just all hanging out in their living room while we were waiting for a tow truck.
Different times.
And it's just like, and now I remember that, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like,
but people wouldn't dare do that now just because.
On both sides. Like,
right,
no one would let you in, and it's like, I don't really want to go in.
Too many people are.
Yeah. It's
have issues.
It's interesting. But yeah, so I rolled it over. Went to the closest house I could see and said, "Hey, this is what happened. I need to call home." So I called my dad. I was only maybe like 10 minutes from the house. So he shows up, just looks at it, and then had this little smirk on his face, like, "Well, how'd you do that?"
I can see
we're walking through it, and so we call a tow truck. It comes. There's no police report. It was like, didn't hurt anybody. It just ended up in a ditch. We rolled it over. Tow truck hooked it up. Actually, the tow truck helped flip it, but I think I drove it home.
I think that's right. If I remember, because I remember you telling me.
Yeah, I feel like we got it started. Now, it had some cosmetic damage at that point. And can
you imagine, flipping a car over now and then you just get it turned back over and drive it home? They'd put it up on a rollback and be like, "Oh, we got to take it
totaled.
in." Right, totaled. You got to go to the hospital.
Got to call the police, all that good stuff.
Right.
So no, but what about was my first accident, and that was let's see, that was probably 3-4 months in that I had that. What about you?
Mine was probably maybe about that same amount of time, maybe just a little, maybe 6 months. So my mom had the Pontiac 6000, and I don't remember if it was a Wednesday night or a Sunday night, but my parents had, I don't know what the deal was. Must have been a Sunday night, and we had a youth activity at church that went later. And so I had the car, I had my brother, and then there was a girl from church that I was taking home. I wasn't dating her, none of that, but anyway, I was taking her home. And I went on this little side street that I had been down as a passenger I don't even think that road exists anymore. I think they rerouted the whole thing. But anyway, I had been down this road. That's how I knew how it was. I was like, I'm going to take the shortcut to her house. So as I was going down, there was a building off in the distance, and you saw the driveway to the building. But there weren't street lights on this road. Okay? So it looked like the road I was on connected to that driveway next to the building. So it kind of, just went pretty straight. This road did a hard right. So yours was a hard left. This was a hard right. Okay. Well, so I see it and I'm like, oh, and I turn, this is power steering, not power rack and pinion, not rack and pinion power assist. This is straight power steering. You could turn the wheel like this. I turned that wheel so fast that the front wheels turned, but I kept going straight. Okay? And it just so happens in the bend of that road is a telephone pole.
Oh.
So it had two headlights, dual headlights on each side, because one was low, the outside was low, the inside was high. I hit between the high and low beams on the driver's side. So, I really only lacked about a foot and I would have missed it. But bam, no airbags, cars didn't have airbags, nothing like that. Everybody was buckled. Okay.
Which was a recent thing, honestly.
Which was, yes, pretty recent.
Seatbelts, maybe a year or two before we started driving, became like mandatory. Like your insurance company would say, we won't pay a claim if you're not buckled up. Right. They had to go through some really big lengths to get people to use seatbelts.
Right.
So,
and then I think, later it became obviously law. Yeah. But so my brother's in the back seat buckled. He's fine. I'm in the front seat buckled, grabbing the steering wheel, keeping myself from hitting my head on the steering wheel. I was fine. The girl in the passenger seat, however, she was buckled, but she was kind of half turned talking to my brother and me. And when we hit, her right shoulder is facing the windshield. When we hit, she grabbed the dash to stop herself. And that impact was so violent, it like broke and shattered her elbow.
Oof.
So she had to have a porcelain elbow. I think it's porcelain.
Oh, man.
So to this day, because of...
What if that makes noise? Ding, ding. Maybe. I don't know.
Probably not. But to this day, she has a porcelain elbow because I was taking her home from church.
Sounds like we both overcorrected.
Yes, and I totaled that car. That car was totaled.
All right.
Frame was bent.
Did not drive that home.
Did not drive that home.
Okay. Police report?
Yes.
Because there was an injury.
Because there was an injury. Right. Yes. So insurance had to pay that claim, all that kind of stuff. The building that was off in the distance was the VFW.
I was going to say, I said, I feel like that's probably where the VFW was.
Yeah.
The old one.
Yeah, the old one.
It's gone. Yeah, now it's a new one.
Yeah.
Which is very nice, if I might add.
So I walked down to the VFW to call my parents, tell them I'd had a wreck. So I'm walking into this room, it's like...
This is a 1980s VFW.
The smoke was so thick you could cut it.
It just, the moment you say that, it's like I have this complete vision. I have the smells.
All the things.
Everything. It's like, oh my gosh. Man.
There's like full bar, neon lights. I think there's a band playing. It's...
Oh, yeah.
It's full on. And I'm 16-year-old me coming from church.
There's good people in the VFW.
There's great people in the VFW. But, not having had any experience with what even the VFW is, I know what it stood for, but... And to have the door open and then, it's like smoke just...
What is this place?
Right. And then, all these guys, and I'm like, I just had a wreck. Can I use the phone? Oh, yeah. So I had to use the phone behind the bar.
Oh, nice. Which was another big no-no in the 80s. You couldn't be in the bar if you
Couldn't
weren't
be in
21.
the bar area if you weren't 21.
You couldn't bring your kid to the bar if they weren't 21.
Right.
It's like you had to be 21 to be in the bar area.
Right.
And it was like enforced too.
Yeah.
Enforced and frowned upon. If you not now, I feel like you go to a brewery, you go to really anywhere that's a bar, and
yeah,
there's like
they
kids
just
hanging out.
They just won't sell sell the kids.
Yeah.
There are a few places that you got to be 21 to sit at the bar, but anyway, so yeah, that was my first accident. I think it was about 6 months after I got my license.
And they say that usually in the first year you're going to have an accident.
Accident and a ticket, usually first year. So if you made it without an accident and a ticket, 1, tell us in the comments.
Good on
2,
you.
good for you. So
I think they may have missed out on a life experience there, maybe.
yeah. And then my mom got a Plymouth Acclaim.
How was it telling your mom about the accident?
Not as bad as I thought,
Okay.
if you can imagine.
Well, I think they're so relieved that we're okay.
Right.
Number one, you kind of get past that. And then if we weren't doing anything overtly stupid,
Right.
I think that gets you a lot of grace.
Right. And the police report, they estimated how fast I was going, and I was actually going within the speed limit.
Yeah.
So I wasn't speeding.
I mean, you're taking somebody home from a church event.
Right.
That's pretty.
Right.
That's pretty tough to get just overly upset about, I feel like.
And so my mom was, she was glad I was okay. She was upset that her car was totaled and they were going to have to get another one.
Right.
But then I don't know if it was the next day or I think it was maybe the next day or something. She said, well, I always thought the brakes in that car were kind of weird and I didn't like it that much anyway. I was like,
That's a good mom.
I was like, what have you done with my real mother? Because my real mom,
I'd been like brakes weren't good, as in we shouldn't have been driving it, or
I do remember we had to have the brakes fixed a couple of times just because they had done odd things. But there was nothing, the brakes had nothing to do with this. It was the fact that I didn't see the road turn, and then I turned the wheel so fast that nothing happened.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, I probably did the same thing. I mean, to be able to turn a car completely around on a little side street.
I think that's a lot of the reason why they went to rack and pinion back, because it used to be rack and pinion all you could muscle.
Man, those are some hard cars.
Yeah, if you're not moving.
Yeah, if you're not moving, I was just say, okay, they're hard cars to park. They're not hard cars to drive.
They're great to drive.
It's when you start getting into parking mode or
when you slow down,
maneuvering.
it's just straight rack and pinion. It's all you can muscle.
Yeah. No.
But I think that's why they went back to rack and pinion power assist.
Yeah.
So below a certain speed, it's more power. Above a certain speed, it's rack and pinion.
That makes a lot of sense.
There you go. There's your car lesson for the day.
I had later on I had a car that had just full-on power steering, and it was like that. It was an 80s. Remember that Grand Marquis I drove for a while? Do you remember seeing that big old long boat, man?
Yes.
I think it was a tank, but it had the easiest steering of any vehicle.
Because it
was just like, and you'd need to turn it all them times too to get around the corner,
right?
Because that bad boy was a bus, man.
You should have put one of those cruise knobs on there.
Man, that was, and that wasn't even my second car. That was like several cars later. But yeah, I kept driving the good old Colt there for a little bit longer. It became harder to start. Couple little other things,
Well, once you've been upside down.
Yeah, and I remember, I'd have to spray some starter fluid or
the ether.
Yeah. Something that was going to catch fire to get that bad boy running. That happened a couple times. Replacing steering wheels was quite popular with those.
Grant GT steering wheels. I put that on my truck when I eventually got the truck.
And I had one in the Colt.
All right, yeah.
Do you remember me miswiring that?
Yep.
And having the horn go off every
When
time I
I
turned
turned.
left.
Like,
That got me so many bad looks. But it was a nice steering wheel, but for some reason there was a loose wire, and anytime it came in contact with that steering wheel as you turned, I get the little and people would just be like, what? So it was not the funnest thing. I'd always really look to, like, I thought out left turns. Like, who's here? What's going to happen? And I tell you, I would seek out right turns all day long. Like,
okay.
I want to turn into a right. I want to turn right into a parking spot. I want to be able to come out and turn right to go back out. And then at occasional, when that left turn came up, it's like, oh,
Here we go.
let me look around, make sure who's
Nobody's
where and
gonna
what.
come after me.
But yeah, so,
My experience with Grant GT steering wheels, I actually had two of them
Yeah.
because one of them, it faded so bad. It was red because my
Mhm.
truck was red.
Yeah.
It faded so bad it like looked pink.
Yeah.
And I got my mom, and I wish I still had it. My mom sews, and like when we were in elementary school, she used to make a lot of clothes for us. I thought it was cool. Other kids,
Not so
picking
much.
at me because you're poor, but whatever. She made a steering wheel cover. You remember the toilet seat covers that people had in
like
the 80s?
I remember that.
And she cut out and stitched stitched it on there. It said Oakley.
I remember that.
It was like
I
this
do.
black fuzzy steering wheel
And
cover.
I miss those toilet seat covers, by the way. I always thought they were cool.
Yeah, so toilet seat cover that would cover the lid and cover the ring that you sat on. So in the winter when it was cold, you had a nice like.
And they were always in a matching set. You'd have that
Yeah.
little floor thing that wrapped around the toilet.
Yep.
And then there was usually a little snugger that went on the top
On the
water
top,
tank.
yeah.
That would just give you a full matching set. I looked for that set years later for whatever reason.
They don't make that,
No.
I'm not saying they don't make them. I haven't looked.
I haven't. It's been a while, but I don't feel like I was able to find that old school set, and I don't know why.
I would love to find a tank cover with the
It's like why, but
what do they call it? A mat, toilet mat. Like what do you call the toilet rug?
yeah,
The thing that goes on the floor. Like it's got a name.
I guess it's a mat, a toilet mat.
Yeah, something. So the mat,
So your feet are nice and warm.
the ring cover,
yeah,
the lid cover, and the bowl cover.
it would.
It's a
all be
4-piece
good.
set. And we had different ones
Yeah, yeah. You had
because you would use one for a while and then you
Seasonal,
go,
or you
okay,
change it.
that one's
Especially now, you think, oh,
people have peed on that for a while.
yeah.
Let's swap it out.
But you know what you did not have? You didn't have dust on the top of the tank.
No, you didn't.
But I kid you not, that seems to be like constantly. I'm like, where's all this dust come from on the back of the tank?
It was
But
all in the cover.
If you put a cover on it, you don't have to worry about dust in your toilet tank.
Nope, you just wash the cover.
But
She fashioned it after one of those, the lid covers.
yeah, that's awesome.
And just
I
made
don't
it
think I ever
smaller.
knew where that came from though.
Yeah,
But I remember
Yeah, I mean,
the
she
cover.
made it. She measured the steering wheel to make
Yeah.
it the proper size, but it had elastic, so you'd open it up and then slip it over the top, and the next one I had stayed red the whole time I had it, but I had that one so long that the little knob that made contact with the horn, because it was this. I'm not going to get into all the particulars of it, but the way that it worked, this little copper button came down and was on this copper circle, and that's what made the contact for the horn. Well, being in the straight position for so long, it wore that little copper piece out. So in order to honk the horn, I had to turn the wheel to honk it. So if I wanted to honk at somebody and I'm sitting at a red light, and that was not power steering at all.
Yeah.
It was just straight rack and pinion. You have to or if you're going down the road driving and you had to honk at somebody, you had to kind of put your hand on there and do this.
This is. And part of me wants to start the conversation and go, man, remember we used to work on the cars. We'd install steering wheels and radios and speakers and
Yeah.
all this stuff. But then I want to go, what happened to people being able to do that? And I'm like, okay, we weren't actually that good at it. So,
I mean, I still do it. That diesel truck is running because
and I
I'm
think,
a YouTube mechanic.
and I think that if you use the right resources, I haven't really done anything on any of my vehicles since probably the early 2000s. once I started getting out of the 90s model vehicles, they got so complicated. I was like, man, I don't.
Truck is a 2000, so
Okay, so you're right there at the on the cusp of my area.
You can still work on it.
Yeah, because I mean, speaking of cars and getting licenses, the other things that we had to learn, or I mean, I did, but we changed our own oil.
Oh yeah,
we did all the little light mechanics.
Taking it to get it changed was just like you just.
It was not really a thing.
Didn't do that.
You changed your oil, you put it in a bucket, and you poured it out next to a tree in the yard. Because I learned that that's what people were told to do. That it was good for the environment. That it would
keep bugs out of your trees.
But it would reabsorb. The oil would reabsorb into the earth.
Right.
And then essentially, I'm probably not all the facts
I don't remember all
here,
the particulars,
but there is a reason
why
why our parents and grandparents, did that. And I grew up with change your oil. You go find a tree in the yard, pour it around the base. And
we had we always had like a stick brush pile in the back, and we would just pour it on that so that when it was time to burn the brush pile, burned easier.
So did your lungs, man.
It's not like I stood over going.
It smelled good. Nothing smells better than that mosquito fog that they were bumping
the
out.
Yard guard. Remember that stuff?
That stuff smelled great.
It would just leave this cloud. That's a whole different time.
That is. All right. So we got our license.
Right.
We've got vehicles and we're kind of getting out.
So eventually I get my own vehicle.
Eventually you get your own vehicle. You get your truck, which
an 87 Nissan hardbody.
Every guy's dream. Like, I want to get a truck.
I love it.
And
I've tried to find more of those.
Fun in your truck is how I learned to drive stick shift.
Yep.
All my cars to that point were automatic, so you taught me how to drive a stick shift. Thank you.
You're welcome. I taught several other people.
Still know how to drive it to this day. But that was fun. Like, I do remember. I know we're supposed to be trying to lead up to our first road trip. We'll see how that works out. But I do remember the first time a big snow came through town.
Yes, and I was surprised at this, but it's such a great idea. I'm probably going to do the same thing with my kids.
Yeah.
I might go with them, but so back in the 80s, I guess this would have been 1990 because I had my truck. So when we had a big snow, not too long after I had gotten my truck.
I was going to say, it's because
I got it in February.
You got it in February, and I guess it could have been after you graduated, but I feel like it was.
I think it was
right
before.
You got it.
Yeah, it was not too long after I had it because it was before. Now back then, spring break was in April. It wasn't in the middle of the semester like it is now. But so it was sometime late February, early March. We got a pretty decent snow for Nashville. We were out of school. My parents told us to go up to the local water park. It was a county park and water park. And they had a big open parking lot and said, go up to the wave pool and learn how to drive that truck in the snow. So we're talking about a stick shift truck. There's zero weight, two-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive. There's no weight in the back of this truck at all. Now, it was only, mile and a half?
Yeah.
McGavick.
Maybe.
Yeah. So a mile and a half to the wave pool. We get there, and we just get out, and you were in your car.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in my truck. And we're basically just like having at it. It's like,
because there's no other car. There's nobody else there.
What can I do in this parking lot to just... And so I, just floor it and it starts going one way and you learn how to correct. Mm-hmm. And then you get a little bit bold and you come, straight and then slam on the brakes and turn and do 360 and learn how to correct that. And as fun as that was, what I later realized was that it was teaching you how to control your vehicle
Yeah.
in an adverse situation.
Which we obviously both needed some help with.
Yeah, because we both crashed cars.
I'm probably a better driver in snow and ice than I probably am on dry pavement.
I'm a better driver. I became a better driver once after I took the motorcycle license course.
Same.
Because you just look at everything
Pretty crappy
different.
motorcycle driver.
I'm all right.
I mean,
So I got my
I'm still here. So
yeah, but it just made you look at intersections different and
yeah, everything.
Just
True.
looking at anticipating what people are going to do. Because I'll be in the car and I'll be like, whoa, and my wife and the kids are like, what? I was like, that car, and then they'll do it and they'll be like,
Yeah.
you just riding a motorcycle.
It's a swivel, I think, and you're right. I think taking the motorcycle training, motorcycle courses.
Because I did
absolutely.
take the motorcycle driver safety course
Mm-hmm.
and all that before I got my motorcycle license. So I think that is a fantastic idea.
Absolutely, and I did as well. I'm also a fan of it. I learned a lot, but back to this parking lot, I learned a lot there too.
Yeah.
I mean, just just getting over that fear of something that's moving and you don't know where it's going to go. Even though, yes, you're in a big parking lot, but the first couple of times it happens, it's like, am I going to stop? Or,
right. How far am I going to go?
Right.
But then once you figured out, like, okay, and it wasn't calculated like, oh, if I'm going 25 miles an hour, I'm going to go this far. It wasn't any of that. It was just that you knew about how fast and about how far you were going to go and what you needed to do if the back end kind of went out or if the front end kind of went out or, depending on what was happening, you figured out what to do to fix what was going on.
Well, and I think too, like I know because you had a manual, you start to learn what role can gear shifting play in that.
Yeah, that's huge.
For me, automatic cars usually have a low gear.
Right.
Or, they've got a couple of other options there. And I think the car I was in at the time, I think it had a low.
Second and
low,
then
it it either had a second or it had a second low one. So, yeah, I guess it would have a second and then a low gear. And that was interesting to figure that out, too, of like how just changing the transmission and the engine could just slow you down and stop you. No, I thought our wave pool parking lot training went really, really well.
Yeah. I mean, I think when it snows.
And we were on a high from that, and then we got to serve the public.
There was
remember that?
There was a guy in a ditch.
Yep. There's a guy in the ditch.
On our way back. And we pulled over and we
got him
out of the ditch.
Just pushing, from what I remember.
Pushing, yeah.
There was no ropes or
we didn't have chains.
Yeah,
or
we didn't
like,
have big trucks or anything like that.
No, because nobody had 4-wheel drive. Yeah. Like you had a front wheel drive car.
It was just, I remember him being stuck, and then we stopped, got out, and I mean it took a minute.
I think he, got into drive, and the two of us like pushed, or I don't know if we got like gravel under his tire or something like that. We kind of messed with pushing his around.
Yeah, and maybe getting a little bit of clearing up under the tire so at least it could get a little grip.
And got him out, and then he tried to pay us, and we're like, oh, no, it's no big deal. And then when he like left, we went, we should drive around looking for people.
We should. And not to make money, just like it felt good.
Yeah, it felt like the right thing to do.
It was like, oh, we're obviously experts at driving now, and other people aren't. We should go out and spread the word.
And we're experts at helping people get unstuck. One time makes us an expert.
Overly inflated there. But no, I mean, this is what, 40, 35 years later, let's call it. Maybe a little more than that. And I still feel pretty good about that. Like that was a really
now having a
meaningful thing to
having
do.
a 4-wheel drive truck.
And chains
in the snow
stuff
and
like
chains
that.
and all that kind of stuff.
It makes it much easier. Better. Yeah. So
now the little car that I drive on that's my daily driver. That thing's a front wheel drive car. That thing is a snowmobile.
Yeah.
I don't know I love it.
I mean,
It's the grandma-est car you could ever
When
drive.
did front wheel drive come out?
Oh, they had front-wheel drive a long time ago.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah. But it wasn't like super popular.
I feel like it was a feature that somewhere in the 80s, 90s
It became very
quite
popular in the 80s because they were trying to make, they would turn the engine sideways, transverse mounted engine. And then it was easier to make the front wheels drive because of the way that the engine was turning and the transmission location and all that kind of stuff. So anyway,
It's a long article.
yeah, sorry about that.
All right, we're 45 minutes in, and we got our license. We've had accidents.
And we drove in the snow.
And we drove in the snow. What do you think about the next episode being our first road trip?
Let's do it next episode.
I think so,
because
too,
I
'cause
think that
There's a
we
lot
would go
to.
way over.
I think we would too. But our first road trip was pretty fun.
It was.
I had a good time, and still a lot of things I remember. And
Which is surprising for you.
yeah, it is. I have, and for the record, I have never had a great memory of, the details. I can get generality. I can be general. Anyway,
Right.
that's awesome. That's off. I think we're off to a good start. So yeah, we've got our passport to freedom, our driver's license.
Yes. And both of us have vehicles now.
We both have vehicles. I think I'm still a few months away from my second vehicle. Eventually, the Dodge Colt does run its course, and
Give up the ghost.
I move on to my first vehicle that I get from a car lot, which is I believe a 1986 or 88. Maybe it was an 88 because that would be too new.
86.
86 sounds
Sounds
right.
right.
86 Mercury Lynx, which is
I found a picture of that. I think I found the picture of the Ford Escort.
yeah.
Ford Escort, Mercury Lynx, same vehicle,
Same thing.
different badging.
Yeah.
So I think I found a picture of the Escort.
Probably the Escort.
with
That's
the-
exactly what
in
it
the
looked like.
same color.
Yeah, it's tan.
My favorite color
was not one for exciting car
is
colors.
light tan.
All right, we want to do a check-in here on some of this gnarliness we got going on.
This is still just getting more and more sciencey.
I mean, it's really at the point.
Penicillin.
I trust you, not even touching it. These little
It's sealed.
weightlifters here are getting stronger and
A little
stronger.
more,
yeah.
a little more solid.
I still say they're chewable. I don't know what they'll do to your intestines.
But
though,
now that we're
but,
driving, we're getting closer to this story.
we are. This is not
Yeah.
our first road trip, but these definitely, I'm sure, happened on the first road trip. And
Oh, yeah.
caused some questions and some concerns. I just don't know if we were close enough to be willing to talk about that yet.
Nope.
So
Nope.
this is still, you were suffering in private still.
Both of us were.
All
All right. Do we have a...
right, a question for the Book of Answers. I do
You do?
have
Okay.
a question for the Book of
What you
Answers. Is a driver's license still a passport to freedom?
Is a driver's license still a passport
Yeah.
to freedom? Like it was back in the day. Let's go here. Make a list of why.
I could totally do that. For a 16-year-old, it's
Like make a list of why it is a passport to freedom, I guess you could.
yeah.
What's one page over? Let's see. Follow someone else's lead. Okay.
I could make a list of why it's still a passport to freedom.
Yes.
Now that list when I was, a 16-year-old was probably very short, and it started
Yes.
and ended with girls. I think now looking back on it, it's like, man, it opened up work, it opened up
Yep.
travel, it opened up just so many different experiences.
Well, and even just learning how to change your own oil,
yeah, I mean,
rotate the tires.
and just the additions, speakers, and I mean, we haven't gotten into it yet, but
CD player.
CB radio.
Oh, CB
I mean,
radio.
We had those for a little bit.
Yeah, we did.
I mean, we really went through different little phases there with everything.
Hey, man.
So it's good. I mean,
Nice.
I like it. Awesome. All right, so next episode is our first road
trip
to the
first of many
thriving metropolis of Gatlinburg.
I mean, it was
/ Pigeon Forge.
that's a busy place.
Oh yeah,
Even then,
it
was a very popular
I think
tourist
that,
attraction.
Absolutely, that's why we went.
That's why. Well,
We knew that people.
would be there. One particular type of people would be there.
Girls.
Girls would be there with their families. And
We didn't tell you that. But we were young, independent men with our passports to freedom.
with our
So
own vehicles.
What could go right? What could go wrong? We'll find out.
All right.
Thanks y'all
Thanks
for
joining
joining
us.
And don't forget, we may still have a few T-shirts left if you're interested. They may
Yeah.
all be gone, so let us know.
We'll tell you if we do or we don't. And if we get enough requests for, hey, I want one, we can get some more
We can
made.
get some more. Y'all take care.
All
Thank
right.
you.
See you next time.
Later.